Natalie stood at the street corner, clutching a wall for support. Her eyes darted everywhere. Had the vampires circled the block? Were they coming for her? But the scene on the street was just another Parisian evening. A pleasant weekday night with a hint of spring. Enough to draw a few people out despite the late hour. The street was lit with a row of antique lampposts, and signs beckoned customers into restaurants and bistros. A waiter bustled in and out of a sidewalk cafe, and couples sauntered by, holding hands. It was a nice night. No, a beautiful night. The kind a girl would drop everything and move to Paris for. But behind her... She glanced back into the alley, ready to bolt at the first sign of a vampire. Her eyes darted upward, too, because something had hovered overhead earlier. A twisted, half-human, half-monster with wings. Now the sky was clear, and the terrifying sounds of the fight had died down. Died? Every muscle in her body tensed at the eerie silence. The red lights of the subway glowed at the end of the block. One of the old-fashioned stations, with Art Nouveau drips and curls around the letters, spelling Metropolitain, a style that had always reminded her of vampires. But now, that looked like her best escape route. She could jump on a subway car and shuttle to the other side of the city. Heck, she could head straight to the airport and book herself a seat on the first flight home. Olivier's words echoed through her mind. "You think blood like that comes along every day? Royal blood?" What had that been about? And what about that out-of-nowhere burst of fire? She had every reason to flee, but the ominous silence of the alley called to her, as did the memory of Tristan's earnest expression. "We need to get you out of here." Was he lying in the alley bleeding? Worse, were the vampires bent over him, sucking his blood? For a full minute, she stood, shaking. Then she forced herself to inch back toward the alley. With every hesitant step forward, the sounds and lights of the main street faded, plunging her into a dark, dank world. Stooping, she grabbed a discarded vodka bottle and smashed the end against the cobblestones. The sound of shattering glass made her wince, and something rushed through the litter at the end of the alley. A rat? Trembling, she inched forward, holding her makeshift weapon. It took her a solid minute to work up the nerve to peek around the corner of the alley. A minute that felt like an hour. But when she saw Tristan slumped against a wall, alone, she dropped the bottle and rushed to his side. "Tristan! Tristan?" She crouched beside him, her heart hammering. "Are you all right?" He mumbled incoherently, and she shook his shoulder. "Oh, God, are you all right?" His lips were chapped, and blood leaked from a dozen wounds. When he stirred and raised his head, images from a zombie movie rushed through her mind, and she half expected to see horrible, bloodshot eyes and a foaming mouth. But no. His eyes were a clear, startling blue, like the summer sky, and she exhaled. "Tristan." He dipped his head and groaned. "You'll be okay," she said, trying to convince herself. "The police will be here soon." But Tristan groaned and slid his heels along the ground, trying to stand. "You want to explain the vampires to the police, or do you want me to?" "But your wounds." "Will heal." He extended an arm, a long, muscled arm, like that of an Olympic swimmer. "Help me up. We need to get out of here."